Hello, welcome. So today we're going to talk about the graphs of the sine and cosine functions. Okay, so let's just remind ourselves sort of sine on cosine on the unit circle. Okay, so just a reminder. This is not the graphs, this is going to be the unit circle. Okay, let me actually move this. Make a circle here. Hate making circles here. Make a circle here. There we go. Get to see how the sausage is made a little bit. There. Okay, so we have our unit circle, and remember, the x coordinate goes with cosine, and the y coordinate is sine. Okay, so we have, here's our angle, and we have some point x comma y. Okay, so that's the starting point. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to first start by graphing, let's say the sine function. So now we're going to actually graph it with the y being sine and x being, or theta. So we're going to graph this a little bit differently than the unit circle. We're now going to graph y equals sine of, let's say, theta here. Okay. So now when we do it here, this representation is a little bit different in that here we're just going to say theta goes along this independent variable direction, okay, instead of going around. So now, what's happening to sine of theta as we go around? Well, I'm only going to really take 4 points. I'm going to take this point, this point, this point, and this point. That's 4 points. So when theta is 0, sine here, this point here is 0, right? 1 comma 0, so the sine, the y coordinate here is 0. So I'm going to start with sine of 0 being 0. Okay? The next point on my unit circle is this point up here. Here, that angle is 90 degrees, but I'm actually going to be in radians, so I'm going to call it pi over 2. And pi over 2, the sine of that is 1. You can see the y coordinate that goes along with this is 1. So I'm going to represent that here on the graph with a pi over 2 and a 1 up here. I'm going to have to make this line a little longer. Okay. The next point on the graph, the next point on the unit circle is over here. That's pi, okay, 180 degrees or pi, and the sine is 0 again. The y coordinate for this point on the graph is 0. Okay. Down here, this is 3 pi over 2, okay, right here on the unit circle, that's 3 pi over 2, okay, and the y coordinate is negative 1. So when I have theta being 3 pi over 2, let's make negative 1 here. Let's move this point a little, make it a little more uniform. And then finally, when we get all the way around to 2 pi, so we go all the way around, the y coordinate is 0 again. Okay, and now I'm just going to draw sort of a smooth arc here. Okay, and then the sine graph keeps going in this way. Okay, but this is really what I want to see. I want to see just, this is one cycle of the sine graph. Actually, there's a word for that, one period of the sine graph. Okay? All right, let's do the same thing with the cosine graph. Let me actually move this one down a little bit. I know it sucks if you're taking notes, but I want to have that unit circle again. Okay, so I'm going to do the same game. I'm going to play the same game with the cosine graph. Let me make my line there, another line here. Oh, that's not straight, or not vertical. There we go. Okay, so we're going to play the same game. When the angle is 0, what's the x-coordinate over here? That's right, the x-coordinate here is 1. So at 0, we're going to start here. Okay, so this is, of course, this is going to be y equals cosine theta. Let me move, by the way, this theta. Okay, now back to there. What's this angle? When we have this angle of pi over 2, the cosine is 0, right? The x-coordinate that goes with this point up here at the top, that's 0. So at pi over 2, the cosine is 0. How about at pi? Well, at pi, that's this point. Okay, remember the angle pi is halfway around. So the cosine of pi is -1. Let me make that uniform again. So let me delete that point. Ooh, I was able to delete just the point. I'm getting skilled with that good notes eraser. Okay. The next point is at 3 pi over 2. What's the x value there? That's right, it's 0 again. Okay. And finally, when you get all the way back around to 2 pi, it's going to be back to 1, the x value. Okay, and again, we're going to graph it like sort of with smooth curves. We're going to let them be sort of like that, okay? And that's basically one period of the cosine graph, okay? All right, that's the start. I'll see you guys in the next video.